I'm just going to give it a couple minutes here just to see if there's anybody else coming through, and I'm actually going to pull this up on my computer quick. Let me know in the comments if you guys can hear me all right. I unfortunately had to do this on my phone tonight, and I'm having some technical difficulties. Oh, I am sideways, okay. Now, is that better? I hate that I can't do it on my PC. There we go. Not landscape view, but is what it is, I guess, for now, since I unfortunately have to do it off my phone. There we go. Okay, just wanted to make sure I could see the chat. So I have my buddy Alex in here, and I have Nate with Land Cloud Adventures. Thanks for tuning in, Nate. Appreciate the help in the comments. Yeah, I definitely want to get it into landscape. I hate this portrait mode. See if I can fix my... Doing better? Got a couple more people coming in. Hey, everybody. Trying to get you guys that nice painting in the back, too. A little bit of California $3.95. Found it at a thrift store. Someone hand painted it. Couldn't pass it up. So I'm just going to get started here because I honestly don't really know how many people will tune in. I'm not expecting a lot of people. I didn't promote this very. So I just wanted to do a quick live stream before my video and kick off season 3 of Kobe's Travels. So a lot has changed since my last video. One of the biggest things, though, is that I did get a job at my local college, which I had recently graduated with a business degree back in May. Now I came back and I am the campus suite manager. Hence, yeah, this is a wall. This is not the bus. Rocky, quit your barking. That was my bad. I still have my camera for you guys. Where are you going? Nobody's here. I'll show you my suite. So it's actually my suite. Lots of room. Me and Rocky are being spoiled. I got a full kitchen with a microwave, which I did not notice when I first moved in. I almost bought a new one. Thank God I did notice it. I have a fridge and a freezer. I did not have that on the road. And as you can see, I'm already kind of stocking up here. Lots of Dominoes. The nomad in me still eats out a lot. But yeah, kind of a mess. I do have a nice bathroom, which, as a nomad, again, was not something I really had. My favorite, the shower. I get a hot shower for free whenever I want. I mean, that is something I definitely missed on the road, because showers can get expensive. Got Rocky and his food and water. I have a nice little office space here. I'm working on getting this gaming PC for my live streams, and I'm going to decorate this wall a little bit more, maybe with my skydiving certificates, photos of my travels, maybe even throw up a green screen on occasion. So I'm going to try to get really fancy with the background here. I have that from my trip in California. My artwork over here is from Slab City. Um, there used to be a guy, Pete. I recently found out that Pete was actually ran out of town, but this was a custom piece by him with Salvation there, kind of a Starry Night theme, and it was around Christmas time when I visited. So while it might not be the greatest thing to look at, it's got a lot of sentimental value to it, and I think a pretty great story behind it as well. I got my dining table, which is currently a mess because I started this job 2 weeks ago, and literally like a day or two after I started the job, students were already moving in, and we had 40 students move in. So I've been nonstop busy, as you guys could probably see with all the totes and stuff on the ground. I haven't even unpacked fully yet. I haven't even fully moved in yet. We have Rocky with all his toys and his bones because you know I gotta spoil him. I'll make sure to give him a couple treats tonight because I know everybody always loves that, and I got the spoiled puppy. My living room. When I went back onto the road, I got rid of my 40-inch TV. So unfortunately, that is the only TV I have, and it is kind of hard to see from the couch. But I got my projector from on the road, and that covers this entire wall. And, you know, I'm a pretty simple man. I didn't really have TV on the road. I mainly watched off my phone, so I'm kind of used to that. I got that from Arizona. Another piece that just reminds me of the hike I did in California. Lots of sentimental value. And honestly, I think my favorite part of this entire suite is this little stand right here. It might not look like much, but this clock, this Route 66 clock, came from the restaurant that my family ran when I was a senior in high school. When the restaurant closed down, I always wanted to do Route 66. So I made sure to take this clock from me as a sentimental piece. And back when I bought the bus, I made sure to get this scrapbook. I don't have any pictures in here, but instead I have a bunch of postcards and like transit passes, receipts from all my travels, whether it was as a nomad or a family trip or a school trip. Just a bunch of postcards. I got some patches in there that I've been collecting throughout the years because I have not found a way to sew those on just yet. I'm probably going to do those on my Route 66 jacket at some point. And then I have this resin of a crab from down in Quartzsite. Every Thursday they do auctions down there, and I always thought this was just a really cool item, and I had to go to one of the auctions and get that. So while it might not look like much, this little stand right here is something that honestly really means a lot to me, and I just think it looks beautiful. I think it's very fitting. And then I got the bed for the bus, for my van. It's always been a very small, like half a twin. This is amazing. When they first gave me a tour of the suite, they came in here and they were like, you know, it's not much. It's a pretty small room, but it does have a decent bed. And I just laughed. I said, you do realize I have been living out of a bus for 10 months. This room is about the size of the bus, not counting anything else in this suite. So I have a nice bed. I have all my dress clothes again. I just got a new pillow and everything because mine was pretty flat from being on the road. And then I have my a couple pop figures here. I got to meet uh, Fluffy last summer. Definitely worth it. Had a great time. I laughed so hard that my ribs hurt. And then the other three, Mysterio, Eggsy from Kingsman, and Spider-Man, I got at my first Comic-Con down in Chicago, as well as this tux with a Tom Holland autograph. I actually met Tom Holland at this Comic Con and I got a picture with him and I got that autographed. And that is going to be one of the videos I'm going to be showing and making this season on Kobe's Travels. Don't mind Rocky, he's passed out. Spoiled. You want a treat, Rocky? Let's get you a treat right now while I'm up. How's that? Come on, come get a treat. Sit. Sit. Pop. Good boy. Good boy. Ready? You gotta catch it. 1, 2, 3. He's always sucked that catch. I've never seen a dog that has worse coordination. But that is my suite. And I see I have a new comment here from Nate. I didn't get to read it, so give me a second here. Oh, if I would have known, I would have offered you, bring you out for dinner. Sounds like Nate was in the area. Yeah, I would have met up with you. I actually wasn't doing anything last night. I had an open night for once, which was nice. Because like I said, the past 2 weeks I have been running non-stop, basically staying up till midnight, waking up 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and getting back at it. But going back to my job here, managing the campus suites, I also do a lot of activities. So I started like a book club, and one of the big things right now is Gogebic Community College. It does not have a food program at all, really. It has a canteen that is open till 3 o'clock every day, but after that, there is nowhere for students to go for food. So what I'm working on right now is getting a concession, so whether it's me or my assistants, somebody could come to us and we'll have some food within the dorms and they could purchase it from us. Along with this, I've been giving rides to the Walmart about a mile and a half up the road for those that don't have vehicles. And we have some kind of grant that we're kind of still working on here. We don't know the exact logistics of it, but we're working on doing food safety, cooking safety, like training. And for the students who attend the trainings, they will be able to get boxes of food delivered for free to them in the dorms. Along with this, if they attend several trainings, I'm going to be doing cooking nights. And I'm kind of using a little bit of my nomad experience for these cooking nights. So, with it being 906 day, 906 is the area code for Upper Michigan. So I'm going to be doing some kind of cooking activity, a cooking class, where the students come in and I teach them how to make pasties. Because one thing I learned traveling all over the country is you cannot get pasties anywhere else, and trust me, it drove me nuts when I was on the road. So, for example here, we will be doing a pasty cooking night. I will teach the students how to make the pasties, but along with of Upper Michigan and the history of which I also have a video on that already this previous season. So I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to get a little bit of vegan options in there. October 10th is Indigenous Peoples Day, so I'm looking into having someone down from Waters Meat come up and teach us like how to make fry bread and the culture and the history behind that. So one of the big things I'm really using from my nomad experience is the diversity, because everybody is different. Whether you're talking cultures or religions or hobbies, diversity is a very big thing. And when you have 100 people living in a small building all together, it kind of sucks. Like when you're not into sports, what else do you do? That is something I want to try and create for the other students here. So another thing I'm looking at is doing a book club. I'm going to do a lot of videos on Upper Michigan here. I'm going to do the video that's dropping after this at 7 o'clock is going to be a road trip on the eastern side of Upper Michigan. So it's going to feature 10 must-stop locations starting at the Mackinac Bridge and doing one giant loop coming up through Marquette, back to the Sioux Locks, and then back down to the bridge. But in the future, I'm going to do one on the western side of Upper Michigan, where I am at, right on the Wisconsin-Michigan border. So a lot of the trips with the students that I go on, I'll be making sure to further get documentation, photos, videos, because the fall is really just the perfect time up here. It is my favorite season. Um, I obviously love summer, hence my trip to Arizona. I loved having summer all year long, but fall is I love it. The colors, the hiking. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. Just having a perfect day like the past 3 days here. It's been high 60s, low 70s, and a nice cool breeze. And then at night it drops down to 40s, 50s. I really like that. And I guess that's something I always liked in Arizona too, is that once the sun set, it did get pretty cold out there in the desert. Um, Outside of that, I'm really loving the job. I'm excited, and I get to make a positive difference, which is something I've always wanted to do. But it is going to be a little hard to sit here and stay in winter. The past 2 years, I did not have winter. I did not really experience snow, and now I will be here. Because of that, I'm thinking of selling the bus. I'm thinking of getting a camper and something to pull it, but I'm not really, I don't have a lot of mechanical know-how when it comes to vehicles like that, so I still have to do a lot of research. But yeah, the bus is probably going to get sold here within the next month, I'm hoping, because even right now, like I said, high 60s, low 70s, it's cold at night, and that makes it hard for me to start it. And I contacted a couple warehouses in our local area here. None of them are heated, and that would mean that the bus sits all winter long from October to May without being started. I highly doubt come May I would be it just it wouldn't start. I could tell you already it would not start. So instead of dealing with all that, just to possibly sell it come summertime anyway, I'm working on gutting it out, cleaning it, and unfortunately, all the work I just put into it, I mean, I'm probably gonna sell it. So on the flip side of that news, though, I did get experience with a bus. I did get experience insulating it, building, gutting it, and I have a lot of videos on that. I have a video I'm going to be doing this season about solar panels, about taking the seats out, what you should look for if you're interested in buying a bus, because as many of you may know, when I broke down in New Mexico, it was not a pretty situation. A lot of nomads say breaking down is their worst nightmare, and it really, to say I lived through that worst nightmare really is an understatement, because my mechanics, they had just gotten out of prison, I guess, for armed robbery. And we were in the middle of the desert, nothing as far as the eye can see, and it was not a fun experience. So definitely don't want somebody to make the same mistakes that I did, because I just did not know diesels. I looked over the tires and basic things like that, and I thought it was cool. I paid for it, and come to find out, it really came back to bite me. And while I'm on that note here, give me a second. For those who have not heard, I actually wrote about that experience along with all of my other traveling experience in a book. I have officially published my first book. And if I'm being honest, just sitting here looking at this, I still can't believe it. Like, it's a book. It is the real deal. It is available on Amazon right now. There is the paperback copy, which I honestly prefer. I think it looks more professional. I think it looks a lot more clean. That is $15, and I have a hardcover copy for $20, as well as a digital copy for anyone who likes digital. And right now, I am actually taking all profit from this book and donating it to the Great Cycle Challenge, which is a challenge I've taken part in. This is my 5th year, and the money goes to childhood cancer. So this talks about everything, though. I'll just read the back to you guys here, so if anyone is interested. Over the past 2 years, I've been traveling the United States and diving deeper and deeper into the life of a nomad. Throughout this time, I've also been writing this autobiography on not only my adventures, but on my past as well, as that is where my story truly begins. Starting in high school, I began to battle severe depression and anxiety. As I graduated and made my way through college, I began to see it only getting worse. As a bisexual, part of the depression was always the idea that I needed to hide that fact. When I came out, however, I began to notice how pushing through discomfort can set you free. From achieving my dream of Route 66 to Slab City to Yellowstone, there was definitely moments of discomfort. For example, my bus breaking down and leaving me stranded for 10 days all alone in New Mexico. In this book, I dive deep into all the discomfort, telling stories that I've never shared before. Not even with family, not even with my closest friends. The best part is, in the grand scheme of things, I'm a nobody. I'm not a big name writer, not a big name YouTuber, anything of the sorts. I'm just an ordinary guy who pushed through discomfort. I hope by reading this book, anyone who also suffers from depression or anxiety will know they aren't alone, and I hope everyone ultimately can answer the question, if you couldn't feel fear for a day, what would you do? And going back on the discomfort, talking about my depression, my anxiety, writing it, I worked on this book for 2 years. It was not easy writing that, putting it in this book, knowing that anybody could buy it, anybody could read it, and it's out there publicly. Not the easiest thing. To even be able to say that was not the easiest thing. I used to not be able to. But by pushing through that discomfort as well, I'm hoping, yes, I published a book. I crossed that item off my bucket list. But I'm hoping this book can be more than just that. I'm hoping it could help other people. And it's something I honestly am really proud of. It's called Discomfort, the Key to Your Best Life. So if anyone is interested in that, it is on Amazon, and like I said, all profits, the whole 100% profit will be being donated to childhood cancer throughout this month. Thank you, Nate. It was really hard. There's entire chapters in that book that I like. Starting off, I hand wrote 14 pages, back, front and back. I completely threw it away, started over. Hand wrote 30 pages, front and back. Threw it away, started over. Started typing up the book, and then I wrote those chapters, and it was hard. I went from writing every single day about my adventures in Arizona and the Grand Canyon and Slab City and New York City and meeting Tom Holland and Upper Michigan, a lot of stuff that I haven't even posted on YouTube yet. I went from writing about that all day, every day, to when I got to those chapters, I would write for a couple hours, and then I did not touch my laptop for a week, for a month. There was times I would delete the chapter thinking, you know what, it's probably like, why? It's not worth putting into the book. No one's gonna be interested in that. But I something I've learned is I'm not the only one that battles depression. I'm not the only one that has bad anxiety. And I want, again, to make a positive difference, whether that's through my book, through my job here at the college. I just want to make a positive difference, and I want to make as many people happy as I possibly can for as long as I can. And um, going back to the Great Cycle Challenge, the person I'm writing in honor of, Zach Zobiak, that is a quote I learned from him. Another quote of his was that you should not have to learn you're dying to start living. And that gave me that final push to become a nomad. I'm hoping, because I've had people comment on my videos, I would love to do this. I've had people move into the dorms here and they're, hey, is that your bus out in the parking lot? I love that bus, dude. That's awesome. I would love to do that myself. I've looked into this and this and this, and they ask me questions. I've had kids this summer. You're a YouTuber? What's your channel? I want to see where you go. I want to see what you do. You went skydiving? That's awesome. But like, that stuff's fun. I enjoy it. But I also wanted to make a difference. I want someone who is sitting at home right now wondering, is it worth trying? It is. If it's truly something you want to do, if it's something that you've been holding back on, do it. And that's what my channel's all about. I had that question a lot this summer. What's my channel about? Is it about traveling? Is it about getting out of your comfort zone? What is it about? Because sometimes I specifically do travel videos, sometimes I do motivational videos, sometimes I do discomfort. The best explanation I can explain, like, give you guys about what my channel is living your best life. Whether that is me being a nomad, whether that is Nate being a nomad with Land Cloud Adventures, whether that is making music like Zach Zobiak. He wrote a song, it wasn't a make-a-wish, it was nothing like that. He just made a song when he learned he had terminal cancer, and it became a #1 hit. He was just a good musician, and when he learned he was terminal, he didn't want to hold back anymore. He chased those dreams. And that is something you're always going to have a reason not to. With me, it was, I talk about this in the book. I didn't have any experience driving on interstates. I had no city experience. I mean, for those who know, Duluth, Minnesota, I drove there once. That was my city experience. Yet here I was in my Dodge Caravan driving cross country absolutely by myself. Not with my uncle. I didn't have Rocky yet. By myself. It was a reasonable thing. Hey, I've never had city experience or interstate experience. I'm nervous. It's uncomfortable. It's reasonable. But I can't let that hold me back. Another thing, I would do it if someone else would do it with me. I wish someone else would go with me. I used to want to take trips to Minneapolis. Take a friend with you if you're going to go, just in case something happens. And yes, there's safety in numbers, and it's nice when you're in a group, when you know other people and know other nomads and this and that. Because when I broke down in New Mexico, not being near anybody, not knowing anybody, it sucked. But even then, and I said this in the moment, I had people complimenting me. You're taking this really well. It seems like you're taking this really well. There was 2 moments I got overwhelmed. I had a emotional breakdown. But I was taking it pretty well because I didn't feel as bad as I did when I was not chasing my dreams, when I was not living my best life. And that's what I want my videos to kind of portray. I want them to inspire people, and I want to show people what's out there, because there is so much. There's so much. I have a buddy. I don't know if I ever told this story. When me and Rocky were back in Oatman, I don't think I ever shared this on YouTube. We were visiting with my uncle. And for those who don't know what Oatman is, it's an old, wild, wild west town, basically. And there are wild donkeys there. So me and Rocky were talking to my uncle, and we were outside when this person comes flying in. Her vehicle's picking up dust and dirt and flying in, and she starts yelling, "You need to put your dog in your vehicle. There's a donkey behind the camper. It's going to kill your dog. You need to get your dog in your vehicle." Well, what happened was, since she was going 80 on this gravel road flying up to the camper where the donkey was, I mean, gee, don't you think that's going to startle a donkey? So when I went to put Rocky away in the bus, the donkey got startled and started running towards us. Not a good situation to be in. I lost my grip on Rocky. He went right underneath that donkey, and he started going at that donkey. And I was crying out, "Rocky, Rocky, Rocky, get out of there." And I still, I'm getting the chills just thinking about this, but I don't know how. I'm very thankful, but Rocky listened to me, and he ran and hid underneath my uncle's camper right as that donkey tried to kick him. And those donkeys, their kicks are very powerful. So that was just like shaking. And I went up, I just slapped the donkey. Instinct, I'm trying to defend my dog. I slapped the donkey, yelling, "Get out of here, get out of here." And meanwhile, here's this Karen, we'll say, off to the side now. She opens up her door, she gets out, and she's recording this whole thing on her phone while she continues to yell at me to get my dog inside the bus. Like, gee, thanks, very helpful. It's just crazy, but you know, I'm living my best life. I'm seeing what's out there. Wild donkeys. My friend said, he's like, "You and Rocky are across the country fighting donkeys, slapping donkeys. Meanwhile, I am 25 years old. I've been in Upper Michigan my entire life. I've never even seen a donkey. And he wants to get out. He wants to travel. And that's kind of what my YouTube is about. Creating those experiences. Another story, I did post this on Facebook, so some of you may have seen it. This summer, I have to mention this because I was laughing so hard, and to this day, I still don't know. I have no answers. So, here we are back in Upper Michigan, and we're camping at McDonald Dam. It's a beautiful lake. There's no service out there, which kind of sucks. An outhouse. It's beautiful. I could run a generator out there on the really hot days. There's spots for tents. There's a nice bonfire pit out there. Just amazing. So we were out there for 2 weeks, and I wake up one morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's cold already. It was one of those cold summer days, so I'm kind of bundled up like this, blanket over my head, and I'm just laying on my side when all of a sudden I hear something land on the wall, literally right above my head. And I'm like wondering, I'm just kind of like frozen in place here, wondering what could possibly be in my bus because, as some of you know, I am terrified of birds because I was attacked by a bird when I was really young. So that is a form of discomfort I have yet to get over. So I'm in the bus and I hear flapping, and it's flapping all around. It's hitting the walls in the bus, and it probably took me a good 10 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, about 10 minutes to finally peek out from underneath my blanket, and it was no bird. It was worse than that. It was a bat. It was a bat hanging right on the emergency roof hatch. And literally, this is all I did. I pulled the blanket down to here. I peeked. It dive bombed my head. I threw those blankets over me so quick again, and it's flying around, flying around. And I kind of peek out and I look, and Rocky's just laying on the floor, minding his own business. He's kind of looking at me, tilting his head, confused, like, what? That's Bob. He's been here forever. He did not care at all, which I'm very thankful for, because if he tried to eat the bat, I don't want to imagine what that would have been like. Oh, because, again, birds, bats, a phobia. And they carry a lot of diseases. So, not great. So here we are, 4 o'clock in the morning, and it flew all the way onto the back wall, and it's right above one of my back windows. And it sat there, and it sat there, and it sat there. And after 5 minutes, I finally worked up the courage. I reached down onto the floor. I slipped my shoes on my bed. I quickly took the blanket off, very silently, like gently. And I told Rocky, okay, on the count of 3, we're going to run. I did not put a leash on him. Nobody was out there. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. I counted the 3. I jumped out of bed, all in one motion, reached through the doors open, and Rocky and I went flying out of the bus. And all of a sudden, I hear the bat flying around, flying around, flying around. I'm like, oh my God, I basically fell onto the ground. I'm terrified at this point that it's going to come flying out of the door and hit me. And it lands on the back wall again. So I go, and I have the door open where the kids would get in and off. And I go and I open the driver door, and I open that up. I'm too terrified to open the back door. I am not going back there because I know it's going to scare it. It's going to start flying around. So I just sat outside for half an hour at 4 in the morning. Just sat there, getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. All the mosquitoes are getting in the bus. And the bats still on the back wall. Wasn't flying, wasn't going anywhere. And finally, I worked up the courage, and I went over to the driver door, and I don't even remember what I did. I made like a bang or something, and
the bat came flying out straight towards my face. I literally fell backwards, flat on my back, and it came flying out and it dive bombed me over and over and over again. I finally got Rocky in the bus. We shut the doors, and at that point, it was like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun's starting to rise, and I'm just laying there in bed, like as Nate points out, the bat will eat the mosquitoes. So I'm like, okay, mosquitoes, the bat took care of that. Like, I'm thankful for that. But the crazy part, and like I said, I do not have answers to this still. How did the bat get in there? And how long was it in there? Because during the day, I did have the door open. It was a hot 90 degrees that day. So that means it's about 110 in the bus. So me and Rocky were out during the day, but come 7 o'clock, right before it gets dark and all the mosquitoes come out, I went inside and I closed the bus doors. All the windows were sealed shut. The doors were sealed shut. The roof was sealed shut. And this drove me nuts to bed, 5:30, 6 o'clock. I got up, back out there after I saw it fly away into the woods, the forest, and I literally did a walk around in the bus. I thought maybe I came in through the engine and the cover was off nope. It was completely sealed. And I don't see a bat flying into the bus in broad daylight and then staying in the bus and me not noticing it. The only explanation, which I really don't like to think about, is when I was renovating and in the bus, which another video on that will be coming out this season. I gutted the bus out to put the insulation down on the floor. So, was it on like my dresser? Was it hanging on something like that? And then when I moved it back into the bus, it had been there and was in the bus for weeks. Was it sleeping in that bus? Was I sleeping in that bus for weeks with this bat flying around and I didn't even notice, and that's why Rocky didn't even care? Just not, but it's a funny story. It's fun to look back on. You're living your best life, and that's something I really like with the nomad life. You have a lot of freedom and you have stories. Stories that uh, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be homesick. That's another reason I like this job. Students coming here, a lot of the students are new to living on their own. They're new to being away from home. I know how that is. I know what it's like to be away from home and not know anybody. And I know the good that could come out of it. So I kind of talked about all this. Our first mandatory meeting, introduced myself, and I told them, how many of you are new to college? How many of you are not from around the area? And a lot of them raised their hands. I told them, as your first time, you might be homesick, you might be nervous. It's overall uncomfortable. But that's when you know you're growing. That's when you know you're living your best life. It's something else when you don't know what you're going to do tomorrow. You're living. You don't worry about the future. You don't let the past hold you down. It's so freeing. So freeing. So we got my new video here is dropping in 15 minutes. I just want to thank the 3-4 people that have been here. Because not gonna lie, I wasn't really expecting anybody to show up to the live stream. I don't have a lot of subscribers yet. I am nearing 250. So for the 3 people that are here right now, keep your eyes out. I'm gonna be doing some kind of giveaway. I don't know what that is yet. I'll laptop, $100 Amazon gift card. I don't know. I'm going to try to do something, hiking equipment. I'm not sure yet, but I am working on that. We will hopefully be hitting that 250 mark soon. But yeah, wasn't really expecting anybody tonight, so thank you guys for tuning in. Um, and let's take the last 15 minutes here and talk about 906 Day. I saw Nate was saying he just got to the UP just in time for 906 Day. So as I was explaining, it's all about the area code. The area code for the entire Upper Peninsula is 906. And ever since I started this channel, a lot of people have been asking me for videos on Upper Michigan. Being born and raised up here, as I kind of talked about earlier, I have the road trip videos coming up. I have some waterfalls coming up, but I'm going to be talking deeper into the mining history and the culture, because the Ironwood Hurley, that's the towns on the Michigan-Wisconsin border. Hurley used to be known as a mini Las Vegas. That is how popular this area used to be. So if you've watched my videos on Oatman and stuff like that, it's kind of weird because I was born and raised here, but Ironwood and Hurley is kind of like one of those areas. It has a lot of really rich history, and my family history is based out of this area. My third great grandfather, for example, was the first person to ever live in Ironwood Township. And my family was the first one to like have a farm out here, the first one to have electricity out here. So I already kind of know a lot about the history and the culture, and I'm going to be diving deep into that stuff. And just because I'm up here doesn't mean I'm not going to do videos on other places as well. I'm looking into flying out to Arizona again. I've been meaning to talk to Nate about that because I'm not sure what his plans are. But when I fly out to Arizona, I would like to meet up if possible. I'll be texting you later on that, Nate. But I have 4 weeks vacation time, so over this next year, I'm gonna be using it. I'm gonna fly out to Arizona. I have videos and photos from the Grand Canyon. I have stuff from Roswell that I've never posted. Florida. Like, there is so much content over the past 2 years that I have not posted, haven't even talked about on YouTube, that even though I'm here and I'm working this job, every single week I'm going to be dropping new videos. Along with this, over the summer, I've been dropping those short 15-second, 30-second clips. I'm going to keep those coming. There's something I really love to do. They seem really popular with everybody. So I'm going to try to be doing a couple live streams here and there. I'm going to get my normal weekly videos coming out, and I'm going to be doing shorts. A little bit of everything for everyone on just experiences, traveling, cultures, history. So even if you're not into one thing, there's going to be other stuff that hopefully you'll enjoy. Going back to my gaming PC, while I cannot live stream off of it tonight, like I said, I'm doing this off my phone right now. The gaming PC is going to up my game when it comes to editing. The past 2 years, I don't know how you guys think. I personally don't think my videos are crazy or that good with editing. It's mostly talking, stuff like this. I want to get more, I want to show you guys. I want to have you feel like you're living the experience almost. And that is something that this video that's going to be dropping in 10 minutes, I have spent a month straight on this one video looking deep into the details. So I'm really, really excited. I honestly think it is my best video yet. And that was done on my phone, but this gaming PC, I already have the editing software downloaded. Having this job, means that I have money coming in, which means I can do this kind of stuff where, hey guys, thank you for helping me reach 250 subscribers. I'm going to do a giveaway. Or I can promote the videos. I can create better merch. I can create the book. There's so much potential, and I really cannot wait for this next season. It is going to be very drastically different, and in a good way. I'm going to do a video if I sell the bus. As I was talking about earlier, some of you might be curious, okay, what are you going to do then? Because I want to get back out. That is my plan. I don't plan on keep working this job and make a career out of it. Although, if I love it and something pops up, we'll see. But I do want to get back on the road. To me, that is where my heart belongs. It's when I feel like I'm living my best life. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell the bus. I'm going to do a video comparing the bus and the van, because I lived in a tiny Dodge Caravan. So I'll talk about the pros, I'll talk about the cons, the things you guys should look into if you're interested in doing the lifestyle. Because one of the biggest things that everyone has complimented me on is my honesty. And I want to give you guys raw looks and like opinions. Me, never buy a bus. That's my opinion. There's reasoning behind that. I will talk about that in a future video. But what I'm going to try to do now is I'm going to look into getting a camper, truck, SUV, and stick with that for 5 to 10 years. And then when the time comes, which hopefully a long time from now, when Rocky is no longer with us, I will be going to Europe, because Europe is very big with nomad lifestyle. There's ways you can live on a train and stuff like that. And I'm already talking to nomads over there that are living the lifestyle. They're giving me advice, they're giving me their experiences, and they're going to be working on trying to come over to the United States. So I'm going to be helping them with we're sharing information, and I'm going to be sharing that information with you guys as well. Another thing is I might get a podcast going. For the podcast, I might take some of my older videos, like why 2020 is everybody's year, which if you guys have not watched that video, I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, go watch it. I have a good reason as to why 2020 was actually everybody's year. And I might take that stuff and I might make a podcast out of it. Motivational, inspiring content, I feel. I might try to direct to that podcast. For those that don't know, I do have a Patreon going. I had a member for a while there. I do just want to clarify this. I had a member. He canceled his membership due to not being able to be friends on my personal Facebook. I have a travel page on Facebook, a travel Instagram page. I have a TikTok travel page. When it comes to my personal Facebook account, it's no offense to anybody, even Land Cloud Adventures, and I know he understands this. I don't even have him on my personal Facebook. It's my personal Facebook. While we could get into controversial topics on there, it's also mostly my family and stuff. It's the one place that is me and my family. And while I'm thankful and thankful for the YouTube, the travel pages, you guys watching, it's nice having a somewhat private spot for just me and my family to talk about family matters and stuff like that. So, we got 5 minutes coming up. Honestly, I'm not sure what else to talk about within the last 5 minutes. So, does anybody have any questions or anything they want to just mention?
I could answer. I know I talked about a lot within the last 55 minutes, a lot of changes. So if there's any questions, I'll clarify. Okay, we got one from Landcloud. Have you thought about doing 8 to 10-second shorts of Rocky not catching things? Answering two things here. One, in the future, I'm going to get better editing software. I want to be able to pull that comment up so everybody can see it. And yes, I do want to do more shorts on Rocky because I love Rocky. I love traveling. I love Rocky. And I mean, everybody, not the toot his horn here, my horn, whatever you want to say, everybody seems to love Rocky. Lots of the students here in the dorms, they get down and they pet him and he's kissing them, and just everybody loves him. So I want to get some videos and shorts on him. When we do these live streams following Land Cloud Adventures, he always does a fun thing where after so many likes, he'll feed the dog some treats. It's something I want to do. I mean, I don't have as many followers, but I'll work something out there because I definitely want to get more screen time with Rocky. Are students allowed to have dogs in the dorms too, or is it just the manager? Good question, and that is something I'm also very, very proud of actually. Since Rocky is an emotional support animal, he is technically not a service animal. He's kind of, you got a dog, you got your emotional support, and then you got your service animals. Service animals are specifically trained to go in stores and stuff like that. So when it came to me coming into the college, technically they could have denied me because he is not a service animal, even though he is an emotional support animal. But they knew me. The president was on really good terms with me. He knew me. We talked about it very openly. I told them that when I let him in and out to go to the bathroom, I'll make sure he's wearing a muzzle, stuff like that. Just the safety precautions. And they agreed to let me have Rocky here. And as a result, they now have it so two of the dorm rooms, two suites, two rooms, are able to have emotional support animals. So if a student does come and has the proper paperwork and has been, there's like a medical evaluation, the students can have a cat, a dog, a lizard, whatever their emotional support animal may be. And as a result, we're working on having a back door put in, as well as just some like a scratching pad on the door. Something that I really didn't do yet by me being here and me having Rocky, they changed that. And I know firsthand how much having Rocky helps with my mental health. So knowing that students can do that, it's really awesome. And students really, really do love having him around. We do have a lot of bonfires at night because Arizona, being a nomad, I'm a sucker for my bonfires. We made s'mores the other night, and I'll just take him out and sit around with the kids with him, and they love him. He has quickly became not the dorm dog, the campus dog. I got the president wanting to meet him, staff members. It's a lot of fun, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud that other people can bring an emotional support animal if they qualify, and I'm proud to have him around, and people can see him and he can cheer them up. So okay guys, we are nearing 7 o'clock here. It is actually 7 o'clock right now, it looks like. So my newest video has dropped. Go check it out, guys. And thank you for tuning in. Please let me know in the comments on that video what you guys think of the new editing. I am so excited for you guys. Stay safe, travel safe, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next adventure.